A very warm welcome to RTV News, folks, and thank you for joining us here this evening. We hope you had yourselves a very productive day. Now, top of our edition tonight, these are our headlines. President Paul Kagame has inaugurated the Angia cement factory in Muhanga district of the southern province, built by Angia Prefabricated Construction Rwanda Company Limited, a subsidiary of West International Holding, the African arm of West China Cement. Senators appreciated the steps taken by the government in solving the problems that were pointed out about the modern settlements. We're very glad to have your company tonight once again, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Martina Avera. President Paul Kagame has inaugurated the Angia cement factory in Muhanga district of the southern province, built by Angia Prefabricated Construction Rwanda Company Limited, a subsidiary of West International Holding, the Africa arm of West China Cement.
Also present during the inauguration of the factory were a number of other dignitaries that included His Excellency Hailemariam Desalegn, the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia. The dignitaries toured the vast facility, built on 16 hectares of land at a cost of $50 million and able to produce as much as 3,000 tons of cement daily.
This project is a microcosm of the friendship between us, and I'm confident that more are to come. As an ancient Chinese saying goes, good friends feel close to each other, even when they are thousands of miles away. Despite our geographical distance, China and Rwanda have nurtured a steadfast and traditional friendship for over half a century.
President Paul Kagame thanked the People's Republic of China for being a good developmental partner for Africa in general and Rwanda in particular.
I commend you for your commitment to infrastructure development in our continent. Earlier, I had the opportunity to tour the Angia factory. You have set the bar high in terms of quality, and we appreciate that. This state-of-the-art factory will contribute to Rwanda's transformation journey. We thank you and assure you that you have our country's full support. Today, growth prospects for Africa's cement industry look very promising. A rapidly growing and urbanizing population in Africa especially is creating increased demand for housing and infrastructure. For manufacturers, this means more opportunities to invest in new markets and create jobs in our communities.
The Rwandan head of state also thanked the former Prime Minister of Ethiopia for his role in bringing the factory to the country, pointing out that unity is what will help Africans to develop.
The goal is to build a more connected Africa, which everyone can benefit from. The African Continental Free Trade Area is a valuable tool at our disposal, but we must, together, all of us, to unleash its full potential. Transformation takes time. We are united by a shared vision to close the infrastructure gap and improve standards of living. Let's continue building on this mindset.
The business community in Muhanga has commended the initiative, noting that such investments are a blessing not only to their district but the entire country as well. First of all, we are happy about the fact that cement may become cheaper, especially for us because we are located close to the factory, reducing transportation costs. We thank the country's leadership, led by President Paul Kagame, who encourages foreigners to invest here in Rwanda, building factories like this that help us to develop.
This investment is going to help us a lot because the factory is right here and the costs associated with transporting the cement will greatly reduce. The fact that so many investments are popping up can be attributed to good security, which we thank our leaders for.
The Angia cement factory employs 205 permanent Rwandan workers, with that number expected to grow to 250 by the end of this year, as well as 40 Chinese nationals. With construction starting back in 2021, and as much as $50 million having been invested so far in the facility, the plan is to inject twice that much in time.
Now, here's a brief look at how cement production in Rwanda has been progressing over the years. From 2017 to 2021, local production of cement grew at a faster rate than the demand locally, where local production recorded a CAGR of 15.46 and local demand grew at a CAGR of 14.48%. The year 2020 saw a spike in the demand for cement as Rwanda was heavily focusing on the building and refurbishment of schools by Mineduc. Remaining demand for cement in Rwanda is fulfilled by imports, where in 2021, 47% of local demand was met with imports of cement. On average, over the 5 years, 51% of local demand for cement is met with imports. Exports of Rwandan cement grew at a rate of 18.21% from 2017 to 2021, while imports of cement into Rwanda grew at 14.2% during the same period. With exports growing at a faster rate than imports, there is a potential for local demand of cement to not being met. Simerwa is the largest cement producer in Rwanda with an export market recording an installed capacity of 600,000 metric tons, where in 2021 it successfully achieved a capacity utilization of 71%. Prime Cement is another key player in Rwanda's cement industry. Established in 2020, Prime Cement has installed capacity of 600,000 metric tons, where in 2021 it had recorded a capacity utilization of 34%. Angia Refabricate Construction is the latest entrance into Rwanda's cement industry and has the largest installed capacity for cement production in Rwanda at 1 million metric tons. Now moving on, experts have been noting that the increase of cement factories is good for the industry because it promotes competition and helps to reduce prices. Our colleague Kalix Kaberuka spoke to Professor Ejid Gahima Karuranga on the matter. Take a look.
Well, the construction industry plays a role in any economy. So when you come to any country, when you visit any city and you see people busy constructing buildings, tall buildings, heavy construction, it's a sign that the economy is going well. Number one. Number two, for the cement, the specific case of cement in Rwanda, we used to have one factory. Recently, we had the second one. Now we have the third one. And cement is a very good case because we can produce, export, and reduce our import. We used to import cement from Kenya, from Tanzania, which is too far, and it's very heavy. So we had a value chain a supply chain of cement which was dominated for a very long time by imports. Now, as we start producing here, we hope that a third producer will help in reducing the price, the cost of cement, and eventually reduce the price paid by consumers. So if you used to buy a bag, for example, a 50-kilo bags at 9,000 or 10,000, hopefully it will come down to 7.5 to 8 thanks to a third player, which will help reduce inefficiencies in production. Because when you have in a situation of monopoly, there is a high trend to face costs which are overestimated or very high because nobody is challenging you. So now we have a third challenger. We hopefully get very soon a very reduced price and promote export from here to DRC, Burundi, and any other neighboring country. If you want to be competitive on the market, the first competitive base is the price, the cost. So I don't think the third player will play the same cost level because quality of the cement is almost is somehow standardized. So you can't. So improving the quality, matching the quality would be step number one. Number two is matching the price and or going below that price. Number three, to be able to reduce the price, you have to be able to revisit your production system and make sure that there is no loopholes, there is no inefficiency. And in terms of marketing, of course, when you reach the market, there is also the issue of distribution channels. If you look at Bralirwa, for example, when Skol came in, they improved a lot. Now we have 250 concept from Bralirwa, which is bringing the beer at a very low price. Sorry for the example, I'm not making any advertisement for Bralirwa or Heineken, but now you have the beer close to your door. And it reduced the cost a lot because Skol was a second player which helped, which pushed Bralirwa to innovate. So the third player will push Simerwa and the Prime to innovate on all angles of the business, on the entire supply chain, from the raw materials, sourcing them from the best sources, transporting them in an efficient way, and making sure that wages and costs, energy is optimized. So it's the complex, the entire supply chain which needs to be optimized fully to face the competition, and that will result in a better price for the consumer and a better service delivery. But the only problem which is remaining is to make sure that the industry, the cement industry, has very high carbon dioxide emission. But that's also another story. Probably consumers will be more educated in the near future, and among the three factories, the one which will be addressing those emissions, the decarbonization of the economy, will probably hit the market in a better condition because consumers will be identifying themselves to the one who, the company which has the best social responsibility in terms of sustainable development.
Senators appreciated the steps taken by the government in solving the problems that were pointed out by the modern settlements. In the month of June this year, they visited different districts in order to see if what they had requested from the government last year was accomplished. These problems included old, run-down houses without toilets, water and electricity, infrastructure, the problem of those who haven't received housing documents, and the poor management of the cooperatives of those who live in those villages, and leaders who misallocated funds. This Thursday in the plenary session, they requested that the rest be resolved quickly because there are some things that do not need a special budget.
It would be better if a list of all that is needed was done, filter out what doesn't need major funding so that it can be prioritized. An example is giving out land documents. I don't really think that needs a special budget for it to be done.
We went to visit one of the model settlements in Nyaruguru, the one next to Munini Hospital. That modern settlement is still new. The residents were given cookers and 12 kilograms of gas. However, a whole year has passed when the gas ran out and it has never been refilled ever since. It is truly a problem. There is also an alternative of cooking with charcoal, but we need to sit down and look for more permanent solutions. According to the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Rwanda is among 7 countries that have already started intra-trade activities through the Common Market AfCFTA. This was revealed during a dialogue between the Ministry of Trade and various agencies of the United Nations working here in Rwanda. Olive Nete has more in this report.
Discussions were iterated on various key points, including the progress of the AfCFTA market and how countries are participating in this program. Richard Niwenshuti, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Trade and Industry, notes that Rwanda is among the 7 countries that are participating in the AfCFTA program on the African continent.
We have 7 countries that we have considered as participating in the guided trade initiative. As I mentioned, so far, if I give you the specific numbers, 54 countries signed the agreement, 47 ratified, and 27 have provided their tariff offers. And to initiate the implementation of the CFTA, 7 countries took the lead to start this usual practice, and we have that means we have started using the instruments that have been put in place to make sure that the markets start operating. So particular to that, we have Rwanda that have traded with Ghana. Kenya has traded with Ghana in different food products, particularly agro. But we're also looking at enhancing more trading arrangements. So guided trade initiative is one of the first steps among other many steps that are going to follow in trying to make sure that countries come on board in trading in the CFTA.
54 countries have signed the agreement establishing this market. 47 have approved the law establishing it, while 23 have already indicated the products that will be sold through this market. Ozonia Ojielo, the United Nations resident coordinator in Rwanda, points out that according to the current progress of the common market, it gives a promising future.
Our economies will develop because our private sectors invest in our economy, trade with each other, ship goods across the continent. So the prospects are huge. The evidence by one of our colleagues actually showed that East Africa is doing much better than the rest of Africa. That East Africa is actually trading more among itself on many products, except maybe on things like manufacturing, like cars and those kinds of products. But on primary products, there's a lot that is happening within East Africa that most of us are not aware of. So we need to build on those gains in East Africa. We need to work on the rules, the regulations, the policies, the tariff structures. Our governments need to recognize that an African citizen should be able to live and work in any country. So,
speaking about the importance of the common market, Annette Mutawe, the Deputy Secretary General Customs, Trade and Monetary Affairs at the EAC, pointed out that among the expectations that the countries of the EAC are looking forward to include raising tax rate to 25% of GDP and reducing foreign loans to 50% of each country's GDP. Rwanda's taxes are currently at 15% of the GDP, and the goal is to achieve 30% by 2035. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Oli, for that report. Now, the members of 15 psychosocial groups aimed at emotional healing, unity, and reconciliation in Gisagara district in Kansi, Chijembe, and Nyanza sectors say that cows donated by the Pentecostal Church of Rwanda, RwandaTV, is an investment that will assist them in their development. Olive continues.
10 cows were donated to 10 people out of 615 who are members of the psychosocial groups working in Kansi, Kijembe, and Nyanza sectors. Residents who received the donations says that it is a good gesture and an investment for future development. I'm happy about this, and I would like to urge other people who have not yet joined these groups to join as well, because what we have now is the productivity that we gain from these emotional healing groups. In this program, in collaboration with the Pentecostal Church of Rwanda, RwandaTV, and Kansi sector, they built a house worth more than 2 million for a 70-year-old woman called Seraphine Nyirasafari, who is a survivor of the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi. The senior pastor of RwandaTV, Reverend Isaïe Ndayizeye, points out that they support efforts to strengthen unity among Rwandans because it is one of their responsibilities as a church.
As a church that aims to impact the lives of people through the gospel, one of the responsibilities we have in our country, based on the history of the genocide that was perpetrated against the Tutsi in 1994, is to contribute in the journey of building unity and also assisting in emotional healing.
Jean-Paul Habineza, the Deputy Mayor of Gisagara District, in charge of socio-economic development, says that cooperation with various religions assists residents in numerous ways.
The soul lives in a healthy body. When we work together with the leadership of various religions, it helps people to understand it more. So we believe that as people who share a history, if we work together with religions by teaching about unity, reconciliation, and resilience, it yields results in residents who are also Christians.
The 15 psychosocial groups aims at emotional healing, unity and reconciliation, and is made up of 615 people of which 215 are survivors of the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi. The cows donated to residents are worth more than 6 million.
Rwanda's Ministry of ICT and Innovation has given assurances that it is going to increase the number of people that can assist local residents to learn to use the internet that is now in 90% of the country's populated areas, but is used by only 25% of the population. We have more on this report.
Technology has been driving Rwanda's rate of development, with services in the public sector provided via the Irembo portal. It used to be that when a person needed something as simple as a birth certificate, it would require queuing up at the sector offices all day long. But now we just declare the person's request on Irembo to have it approved, and then we print out the certificate. It doesn't take us 30 minutes. Up to 109 government services are provided through the Irembo portal, and more than 26,000 people access them daily. Rwanda's Ministry of ICT and Innovation has given assurances that it is going to increase the number of people that can assist local residents to learn how to use the internet themselves. That now is in 90% of the country's populated areas, but is used by only 25% of the population.
I went and told them what I needed, and they asked for my ID card. I gave it to them, and they used its information on their machines. Everything was done in less than 5 minutes.
Last year, the country had 100 such trainers to help people to learn how to use the internet. As of July this year, there were 1,500, and the goal is to have 5,000 in 2 years' time.
As the African continent is still lagging behind in terms of women who have access to financial activities and other related sectors such as technology, experts in the business sector demonstrated that this gap is generally caused by the societal, gender, social norms and lack of trust by financial institutions.
Social norm saying that women are expected to take care of household activities at home. So whenever they go to look for loans, to request for loans, of course there is this key requirement of collateral. But in most cases, due to those social norms, family members do not allow them to pledge those assets because they believe their businesses are really not going to be successful.
A lot of significant challenges because if you look at the financial sector, a lot of organizations within the financial sector haven't fully implemented the social factors, environmental factors and governance factors into their various packages when designing loan packages, for example, because we still tend to see that banks still have, for example, a profit motive. And when you look at sustainable development goals, they have to be more futuristic. They have to think about long-term impacts and design better packages that can be able to take into account the sustainable development goals.
In a two-day meeting dubbed Angaza Forum, women leaders were brought together from different sectors such as banking, microfinance, fintech, insurance, and investment banking to occupy a unique position in their markets and shape the extent to which financial institutions respond to intensifying social and environmental concerns, including financial inclusion, women and youth enterprise development, and environmental responsibility. The Director of the Office of Internal Audit and Inspection in the International Monetary Fund, Dr. Nancy Onyango, noted that the government should play a vital role in making policies that facilitate women and provide more opportunities for women to take up spaces in the financial sector.
People making laws make sure that they inject that kind of gender balance, gender affirmative action where it's necessary to course correct if there have been any discrepancies, making sure that the schooling, the education system, and so forth really reinforces the fact that men and women are equal, getting more women into STEM courses, getting more women out of the traditional home setting. Not saying that they should give it up totally, but balance it with what they're doing.
On behalf of the news production team and I, we would like to kindly thank you for joining us here on RTV News. Stay safe and have a great night. My name is Martina.